Welcome back, everyone, to Entrepreneuring. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and my guest today is an Innoventure alumni, Julia Vulcan. Welcome to the show.
Hi, it's fun to be here.
Hi, thanks for joining us today. We were just geeking out about hair just off air, and you're making me wish I had my blue streak back because you have a very cool haircut.
You should get blue streak back. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. But anyways, so you're an Innoventure alumni, which of course begs the question: what exactly is Innoventure, Julia?
So it's like a competition for middle and high school students, and like we make little teams, and like there's a theme each year, and each team comes up with like a product and a company that fits the theme. And I mean, there's been like a variety of different themes. See, one of them one year was like helping out classrooms or like agricultural kind of things. I know one year I didn't do it, but there was like this space theme.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
That sounds really interesting. So what was it like for you? It sounds like you were a part of the agricultural one. What was that experience like?
So I did that I did it 3 years when I was in high school, and that was like the last year I did it. And so, yeah, my friends and I came up with this product that like measures, like you roll it around and it measures moisture levels in soil, and then we had to like tell the judges why it was a good product and like basically sell our company and our idea to people. So
Oh wow. Okay. So it sounds like it's a program that's kind of bringing entrepreneurial ideas to students outside or below the college level.
yeah.
That sounds really helpful.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Fun.
What were some of the others? You said you did it for 3 years. Were there any other experiences that kind of stuck out to you?
I mean, basically every year was really interesting and fun. Man, it's kind of been a while, so I don't remember the first, like what the topic of the first time I did it was, but I remember our like company name, and I know our logo was like this bee, so that was fun designing like logos and stuff for our company.
Oh, that's cool. Were you the one doing the designing?
Yeah, me and one of my other friends, we were like 4 people in a team for the first 2 years, and then we had another person on the third year. But yeah, we like split up the jobs. I did some design stuff, and so did my friend.
Oh, that's great. I'm asking because I went to school to be a graphic designer, so
Ooh, cool.
found a little thread there. Well, that's wonderful. So kind of overall, what skills, what abilities, what kind of type of ways of thinking did Innoventure kind of bring to you? Do you feel that you picked up through the program?
Well, speaking to a panel of judges. Well, yeah, speaking to a panel of judges in the way of like just like trying to be charming and selling something to someone, and like trying to figure out, okay, what's the best thing about my product, and like how can we work together to make this seem really great and make it work.
Yeah, it can be tough, right? Because it's something you don't necessarily always think of.
Yeah,
I know
and also like the teamwork part too, because we didn't want only one person doing everything. So
Right. Yeah, you kind of have to. I don't know about you, but I was always that. I felt like I was always that student in grade school and high school that when the teacher said, "All right, guys, it's time for a group project, and we're going to go into groups," I was always the one just being like, "Oh no, I'm going to be the one doing all the work," and that was my immediate reaction to that type of thing. But as you get older and as you start to think about your professional life, you kind of realize I can't go it alone. I have to learn how to work as a team.
yeah, and I think it was easier for our team at least because we were all like friends. We're actually still all friends. So
That is an accomplishment.
thank you. I'm pretty impressed with us too.
That's when you know you did something right. Is when you kept a friendship through any type of professional activity.
Yeah. I'm like really surprised, but yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, So I mean, that can be. So what were some of the things you learned about talking, about pitching your ideas? Because I know once I started doing my own business, it can be excruciatingly hard to answer those questions at your family get-togethers of what do you do again, and then they kind of raise their eyebrow.
Yeah. Well, I learned part of it is like confidence. Like you have to just be confident, and also I guess it really helps to be having fun, like to do what you actually want to be doing, because then that also kind of feeds into your confidence. Like, yeah, I know how to do this, and this is why me and my stuff is cool. And yeah, because I know back in high school I didn't really have a lot of self-confidence, but I think Innoventure kind of helped me with that. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. Yeah, obviously passion, can go a long way to fuel, yourself trying to pitch really anything. So obviously if you believe in it, it tends to more naturally come across when you're talking about what it is that you do.
Yeah, definitely.
So overall, what did you like the most about Innoventure?
I really liked that I was in a team with all of my friends, because we would usually use Innoventure as an excuse to hang out and be like, oh yeah, mom, dad, I'm like working for a competition, so that's why I had to hang out with my friends. And like we did like mess around a lot, but also we got a lot of stuff done, and we were pretty awesome. So
I almost saw where that was going. I'm like, I bet you probably had a lot of fun, but you probably found yourself without even kind of realizing it, probably talking about your project with Innoventure, and probably kind of found yourself naturally getting work done.
Yeah. It was like, well, we would meet really often, so a lot of the time we would just be like hanging out, but like, ideas would come out and we'd come up with stuff. So just naturally came out, our creative ideas, I guess.
That can happen. I've noticed that, I do other podcasts on, other than this, a lot of them are about video games. So I make it a point to, get together with my co-hosts and play games, and just naturally we start kind of like, we'll think of ideas for the show, as we're just, like you said, just hanging out, just having a good time with your friends and your coworkers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun how that can kind of work out. That's something I found. It's something I didn't necessarily expect when I started doing my own thing. It's like, well, I can, in my like social time that I spend with my peers, you can still find inspiration. Surprisingly, it's almost like a meeting, even though you're just having a social outing.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're also like kind of thinking about what you're gonna do, or like you have it in mind that you're like, okay, eventually I'm gonna have to work on this, but then it just comes out naturally if you're doing it with people you like and about things you care about.
Yeah. How much freedom were you all given? Were you and your team given to come up with your own idea? I mean, it sounds like obviously there was there was kind of a theme, like work within the bounds of agriculture, but other than that, were you kind of left to your own devices?
Pretty much. I mean, so I remember when we did it, we would come up with like a first kind of an idea and then like pitch it to like Innoventure. And then like they would like give us feedback. So it's called like fall feedback, and it was done in the fall, like the first couple weeks or month or so of the competition. And they would tell us basically if it was like a feasible idea or not. So like the first year we did it, we came up with this really weird, I guess, idea, and I do not remember what it was, but like we had to like rethink it. So yeah, so they also kind of like pushed us to help us figure out like, I guess, kinks in our design and like make us come up with better ideas. But like overall, like we could basically do whatever we wanted to, and I mean within the confines of the theme, obviously.
Right.
Fit the theme somehow, but yeah, we could basically do whatever we thought would work out. Yeah. And could be feasible too to like a bunch of high schoolers.
Did you find that helpful? Did you find you took to that type of like getting a critique that you took to that naturally? Because I know a lot of folks, the first time that they bring something that was their own idea to the forefront and have basically ask someone to poke holes in it, that not everyone kind of receives that differently.
Yeah, well, our first year we got like a lot of critique, and I think we really appreciated that because I mean, our idea originally was, I don't remember what it was, but I don't think it was feasible. So I think like we appreciated the like feedback we got, because our final product was pretty cool, I think. Yeah, it was a backpack with an umbrella on it. I don't remember what the theme was, but yeah, before that, I'm already
thinking that I would like that for outdoor concerts.
Yeah. I think it was more like for survival, and we were thinking of like traveling in the hot sun with a backpack on your back. So like, you'd have an umbrella to shade you.
There's a lot of sun in New Mexico.
Yeah, that was kind of our thinking. So that was like the second part, like after we got feedback on our first idea, which, yeah, I don't remember once again.
So, what other kind of problems did you feel that you came up against while you were doing Innoventure? And it doesn't necessarily need to be about your first project, but maybe your most recent one. And how did you solve them? How did you overcome those obstacles?
Part of our, I guess, like building stuff, because so for the first 2 years we were like none of us really knew how to work power tools or anything. But then we got this other team member on our third year, and like he helped us out a lot with like building stuff, so that was pretty cool. I guess another thing was a lot of the time we would procrastinate, and so like we would churn out like a lot of work in like the last couple of days. I mean, we planned stuff out, but like a lot of the actual building of the product, I guess that was like the most difficult part for us, and we would like put it off till it was like absolutely necessary to figure out how to actually make a product.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never procrastinated in my life. I definitely didn't have many nights staying up till 4 a.m. to finish projects in both high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally not the entire reason I found out what a podcast even was, because I need something to entertain me for the long hours of the evening. Yeah, no, that's so pretty much like fabrication and the building of the physical product was your hardest obstacle.
Yeah, because we also had to write like a business plan and like marketing and stuff, and I think that stuff came to us pretty naturally. We were all pretty good writers, I think. But yeah, actually building it was kind of difficult. We were more like idea people. So, yeah.
So you said later down the line you got in touch with someone who could help you with the fabrication and taught you how to use power tools and stuff like that. Was that through Innoventure?
No, he was one of our friends in high school.
Oh,
and
great.
Yeah, so we were like, oh, hey, if you are bored this next year, do you want to be on our team? And he was like, yeah, okay. And we were like, yay, we're going to make you build stuff. Because, yeah, he used to be on a robotics team, and, yeah, he built some pretty cool stuff. So.
I was going to say, if he was on a robotics team, sounds like he has some serious know-how.
Yeah, he was pretty hardcore with that stuff. Knew how to build stuff.
When you're putting that into like your case study, you call that networking. Call that networking.
Yeah, networking. It's good. It's a good word.
Oh, that's wonderful. I distinctly remember one of my first years in college. I went for art, and for some reason, even though I was not in 3D art whatsoever, we had like a fabrication, like physical 3D class, and we had to learn how to weld.
Oh,
that was terrifying, and quickly became really fun though.
Yeah.
So I can sympathize with that. Learning how to build physical objects when you're not necessarily familiar with it can be tough. Or even if you are, just using a new tool can be daunting and sometimes scary.
Yeah, like saws especially.
Yeah, I've still haven't gotten over my fear of table saws. I've used them a lot at this point, but I remember my first time ever using one, just being like, I'm going to lose every part of my body to this machine.
Yeah, it's basically my thoughts.
Then you very quickly someone teaches you, oh, well, you use a piece of wood when you need to get really close to the blade. Blew my mind.
Yeah.
So, for other students who, have access to Innoventure or maybe, going into it for the first time, what advice would you give them to help them work through their project?
First, make a team with people like you don't mind spending time with. I mean, I feel like that should be a given, but like if you're having fun with a group of friends and you're working on stuff together, it just makes whatever you're working on like a lot more fun. And also manage your time. Like, I mean, I know I'm a procrastinator, but managing your time is a pretty good idea.
That is one of I think the hardest things. Anytime you are left to your own devices, anytime you're working on something that is your own project, whether it's with the team or not.
Yeah. I mean, Innoventure does give you like little deadlines, I guess, to do. So that kind of helps a little bit in managing. But, because I'm a procrastinator, I still somehow find ways to procrastinate. But
I'm exactly the same way, Julia. It's something I've gotten I've become much better at in recent years. Post college, at a certain point, you hit these points where you have to get it together. You just have to spend X amount of time on something, or you're not going to make a good product. So at some point you end up in those fight or flight situations, and it just forces you to shake the procrastination out of yourself. But I absolutely know where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. So I would probably give the same advice. Like, just get good at time management. The sooner you can wrap your brain around that, I think the better you'll be at any type of startup.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I would also say, like, asking your teachers around school for help, because I know whenever we asked one of our English teachers to like edit our business model, and like, I don't know, they were always super enthusiastic and gave us a lot of feedback, and I feel like that also really helped us a lot. So yeah, teachers can be really excited for you and totally willing to help too.
Yeah, and it's I find like in those educational circles, it's pretty analogous to real life. Like it's more compartmentalized, so it's easier to find the help that you need. It's like, well, we need an editor. Well, let's go to the English department. We need help figuring out these formulas. Let's go to the math department. But you can apply that to real life. There's people, like you said, you needed somebody to help you with fabrication. So well, I know somebody from school who was in the robotics. Let's go tap them. And that 100% translates to the real world. You go and you find people within your network that can help you with editing, with building, with that type of stuff.
Yeah, so like, don't be afraid to reach out for more help and stuff. It's not like cheating or anything. Like,
yeah. Did you find again asking for help came kind of naturally, or did you always at first want to figure it out yourself and kind of had to reach the decision where you had to admit to yourself, okay, I need help on this?
For some certain things, I guess. For the most part, like, we were like pretty close to the English teacher we asked for help with, and we were just like, oh yeah, she likes editing, or I don't know if she actually likes editing things, but we were like, yeah, she's always enthusiastic about what we do, so why not? Yeah, and I think we kind of sold the idea to her too. She's like, let me know if this ever goes into production. I'll totally buy some. And we were like, okay, haha, probably won't, but yeah.
Well, that's great. Lily said, I don't know if she loves editing. That's funny. One of the things that always stuck with me when I was in college was one of my professors told me, always be careful what you get good at. So if you get good at editing and you don't like it, you might get stuck editing a lot.
Yeah.
But it was more in terms of art, because we were looking at really intricate pen and ink pieces that probably took like a month to complete a piece.
Yeah.
But so I guess kind of wrapping it up, overall, with Innoventure, in what way do you think you would be maybe worse off if you had not participated, or how do you think you overall have just grown by being a part of Innoventure?
Well, I know I got a lot more confidence speaking to people, which I think is like super important, especially for a high schooler, or at least when I was a high schooler. I can't speak about other people's experiences. I guess I also learned how to have more fun with my friends, and like, I guess how ideas are made. Like, they're made when you're having fun, when you're being passionate about something. That's like how to get the best ideas out. Also, I guess writing, like applying what you like learn in a classroom for like writing things to like real life, kind of, because the business models that we were writing are basically like, if you were gonna do a company, you'd kind of have to do something like that anyway. So it was like a good idea of something we could probably apply to real life if we do want to do a startup or something.
Right. You'd have to come up with a business plan. You'd have to come up with your elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So that was like good practice for things like that.
And it all ties directly into marketing, which it seems like was the thing that came most naturally to you. I mean, it seemed like it sounds like your logos and your names were the very first. It kind of came without a whole lot of effort.
Yeah, we were like, oh, this sounds really great, and we should do this, and like, there's our business and our logo. We just have to actually build the product. But
yeah, absolutely. But then also you understand it because you thought of it. But then figuring out how to convey that idea to uninitiated third parties.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great skill set to have.
Yeah, definitely.
So, did you find yourself, since it sounds like inspiration kind of hit you when you were least expecting it? Did you find yourself carrying around a notepad or or a tablet or something to always jot your ideas down on?
I don't think we ever really, back then, I mean, not that it was that long ago, none of us really had like tablets, and I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think we really had anything to write stuff down. Like, we just remembered if we thought of anything, I guess.
I guess if inspiration strikes in a group, at least you can share your idea, and then no one forgets it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much how it worked.
One person remembers it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I'm always alone in my office, so it's just like, oh, post it. Where are you? I had an idea. So.
Yeah.
Well, Julia, I really appreciate you taking your time to talk with me about Innoventure. So any closing thoughts for anyone? Anywhere any folks can see some of your projects?
I don't. Well, we used to have a website with our projects on it, but
that's not live
probably
anymore.
not up anymore.
Totally fine. Well, if anyone out there would like to learn more about Innoventure, you can go to the Arrowhead website at arrowheadcenter.nmsu.edu, and feel free to just do /Innoventure, and it'll take you right there. Well, Julia, thank you again. Had a good time learning about Innoventure with you, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.